Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday Live. I'm Christine Justy of Mail Something Pretty, and we are here on our weekly Tuesday Live. And I'll just make sure that hopefully we are up and running and the sound is good. I think I'm good. But if you hop on live, let me know, in fact, that you can hear me, you can see me, and then we'll get started with our projects. I have one to show you. I actually have a couple things to show you. And I'm trying to remember, I forgot to write them down, different things I wanted to remind you about. July is bonus days. And so if you place an order for $50 or increments of $50, you receive a $5 coupon code that you can use in August. You can redeem them in August. So it's kind of cool. And there's no limits to how many you can, excuse me, earn. I have a little scratchy sore throat. So I have some water here and a cough drop. So sorry if I, hopefully my throat won't give out, and we'll see how it goes. Hi, Cindy. Thank you. Excellent. Okay, so we know we're going. So excellent. Nancy says loud and clear. Sweet. All right. So I was just remind you, because I might forget at the end. July is the bonus day, so you get the $5 coupon for every $50 you order. Oh shoot, I knew there was something else I was going to remind you of, but I'll think of it. I'm doing a product spotlight. I usually do it every month. I think I missed last month's because what I was going to highlight was back ordered, but I'll do that in August. But anyways, this month's is the Changing Leaves bundle that I've been showing a little bit. And I wanted to show you, I showed it a little bit of picture, but it's always better to see in person. So this is the chopstick wreath that I made, and it's just with some double ribbon. But the okay, you guys didn't see that. I'll fix it. I shouldn't have held it so tight. But anyways, this is the leaves on there. But I wanted to show you actually how I latched the chopsticks together and applied the leaves. And so if you order, which we're going to use today, the Changing Leaves bundle, I'll send you the tutorial for free. So I will fix that, and so it'll be all better. But it's hard to photograph certain things in person, and it's better, or it's easier to see in person than photographs. All right, so we have Bonita here, we have Susan here, Kim here. Awesome. We have a great group. So let me flip over to my desk. There we go. And sorry about the glare. I'll try to move things off the glare here. So I used this last week, and I used it twice for a club. So this is the Changing Leaves stamp set. It's really a bundle because you get the stamp set, you get the embossing folder, and then you get dies. So you get these dies plus this one. And what makes it kind of special is the hybrid embossing folder, and which we're not really going to use today. I'm going to show you. And so the embossing folder, it locks in right here. So then you can put your paper in and run it through, and it will emboss and cut at the same time. So it's kind of cool. But I also love these shapes. There's some stitching around it. So you get this tiny little oval, bigger oval, you get some extra leaves. And then the words here are really nice. All right, so that is my product spotlight. And so if you order by, I think it's Saturday, I'll send you the tutorial. But if you're on my team or you're in club, you get the tutorial anyways, as part of a perk. All right, so I have here, I don't actually have finished cards, so we're going to kind of start from scratch, and you'll see, and then I'll mix and match because we have to wait for some things to dry. So I have some watercolor paper here, and so that's what we're going to start with. So we're doing Emboss, excuse me, Emboss Resist. And so, how could I lose it? It's so big. So you have this huge stamp. So in the pictures here are only shown at 85% because they are quite big. They wouldn't all fit on the stamp case. So like, that's my hand, and that's a pretty big stamp. So I love how it's so big. And we're only using this in maybe some words. Okay, so what we're gonna do, those ones are already done because we need to let that dry, is we're gonna emboss this with white embossing powder. So this is just really quick kind of demonstration on it, embossing. I actually do have a class on it with many different techniques on how to do it. All right, so I'm going to use an embossing buddy, it's called. So it's like a I don't know, I always like a pillow of powder. And you can't see because it's on white, but if you dropped it, you would see like this white powder. And so if you just rub it on your, I should do it on this side because there's something on there. If you just rub it on your paper, it applies just a thin layer of powder, and it gets rid of, like sometimes we have like oils or sticky stuff on our fingers. And so it gets rid of that because it will prevent some of the embossing powder from sticking. All right, so I'm going to use this stamp. So this is a big stamp. So I'm actually going to bring my ink to the stamp. And this is Versamark ink. So it's clear. It's kind of sticky. And you're not going to see me put it on here because it's clear. But I can kind of feel it. And you're not going to see me stamp it either because it's clear. Some people use this as a watermark ink, which works on darker paper. Just going to give that a good press. And then, like I said, you're not going to be able to see it. And then I'm going to use embossing powder. So I put my embossing powders in reusable plastic tubs with covers. I wrote on here, so it says white. And so when you buy the embossing powder, you get like a little vial. And you can use it and you can keep pouring it back into that little vial. But I actually find it easier just to keep each color in its own container. And I even leave the spoon in there. So for mine, each color has its own spoon, so I don't have to clean anything. And then what are we going to do is I just take a spoonful of powder and I just put it on there. I do both sides because it's big. Tap it in. There you go. You can see it on there now. So that powder is stuck to the ink. And what I would normally do is use my heat tool, which I brought up here just to show you. But I have a heat tool, and this Stamp It Up one has a low setting and a high setting, but I would use it on the high setting, and I would melt that powder. And it takes like a minute. This is big, like a minute to two. And then it's noisy. So I'm not going to do it right now, but pretend I heated it and melted it, and it comes like this. So now you can kind of see. There we go. This one has a shine to it, and it's glossy, and it's melted, like the powder actually melts on there. So you can see kind of the difference. The one on the left has a powder, and the one on the right is all melted. So I'm going to carefully put that behind me, and I will melt that off camera because it's loud. So we're just going to use that one. So I'm just thinking, I probably should have done one more. That's all right. I have two samples. That's all right. We'll work with it. So I have 3 ways of showing you Emboss Resist. If I had an assistant, I would have them go off camera, but I don't. All right, so I'm going to use a blending brush, and I'm using Mossy Meadow. And, oh, I keep forgetting. I can use my glass mat instead of scrap paper, because I have scrap paper. I did the other one. And I have vellum on here that normally you guys wouldn't have vellum on your glass mat, but it reduces that glare. So I'm going to do it on that side because you know how we always start off, but you can start off on your glass mat. And then I'm just going to color on top of, in circular motions, my leaf. And you can do it as dark or as light as you want. You can do the whole paper. You can do part of the paper. And you kind of get this leaf. Do a little bit darker on the leaf. And then what I like to do is I take either like a paper towel or a Kleenex or a napkin. I don't need a lot of it. And then I'm going to just rub right on top. So I'll only do part of it. If you rub right where the embossed part is, I think you can see like this is a little bit more white than this part. So it's just taking off the ink that is on that glossy, that shiny, almost like plasticky topping. And it just makes whatever you have embossed a bit brighter. So that's like a really easy technique. And so I had done this one earlier and they all look different. So this one I had done darker, then that one was lighter. And we might use this one actually. We might have to use it for something else. And so what I'll do is I really like the words, but I particularly really like this thank you on here. Oh, phew. Last week I forgot my words. And I have a block. And I will wash that. So you can get, we're actually going to use all parts of this glass mat. So it comes with just a cleaning cloth. So that wipes right off, and we're actually going to use the other part too. So I'll just do a nice little thank you here. I'm using black StazOn. You can use any color ink because we're not applying water or anything. And I already pre-cut my paper, so I just did Mossy Meadow because it matches. And this is just going to go right on top like that. And now some people like to rip their edges. I actually, sometimes with watercolor paper, I like to take my fingernail, and you could probably take, I think some people uses the edges of scissors. Let's see. If you don't want to use your fingernail, you can use the edges of scissors, and you're just kind of scraping the edges. Gives a little texture. You can do it with regular cardstock too. The watercolor paper just has some different fibers. Hopefully you can see the little edging. And then when I put it on top, it just kind of stands out a little bit. I did more glue than I normally do because, well, this one's not so much, but sometimes with watercolor paper, when you add water, you'll see on another one it warps a little bit. But it's thicker than regular cardstock. It's a nice paper to use. So, and I'll do something on the inside because it's dark, but pretty simple, but pretty effective. I think this would be a lovely sympathy card, you know, with sympathy right there, even just plain like that or any other color. So I think that would be nice. Okay, so that's number one. So number two is I have my, it's still embossed, my leaf. And this time I'm going to use my, I don't really know what this is called. I forget. It comes with the glass mat. This comes with it. And then you get, not the case, but the cleaning cloth. All comes with it. It's actually called the Glass Mat Studio. But it all comes together. And it's kind of handy. And it actually, I think it's $60. So it qualifies for the coupons, the bonus day coupons. All right, so I'm going to use my re-inkers. And I'm actually going to use these 4 little boxes to put some ink. So I have to remember, I'll just put them in the order. So I'm going to put some Daffodil Delight. And I already did this in there, and I just washed it up with water, and it came out clean. All right, I'm putting them, I'm going to put these in the order so I remember what color is what. This is Granny Apple Green. And I'm just doing a couple dots. I'm going to add water to them. Coastal Cabana. And Shaded Spruce. I actually saw a similar card to this online. I think the stamper's name was, it just said like stamping with Janine or something. I don't know her last name. She's slightly different colors, but I liked her technique. All right. Oh, I just saw something else actually that will work. Okay. Put those in order so I know what colors what. So I'm going to use water painters. So you get 3 in a pack, and you get 3 different tip sizes. They used to be called aqua painters, but now they're called water painters, and they're all white. They used to have a blue tip. They work the same. But you get a thicker tip, a thinner tip, and this brush tip, I guess, wide brush tip. So we'll use that on the next card. So right now, I'm just going to use the bigger tip. Oh, I need to add some water. So I'm just going to add some water in here. You can also do this like in a cup. You can do it on a block. But I really like this little palette here. It kind of works out. And I'm going to just kind of color here. Just kind of color on top a little bit with some yellow. And I'm purposely going outside the lines because I want to get some yellow outside the lines here. And then, because I'm going to try to go lighter color to darker, but I will kind of wash it off a little bit. And I do have a paper towel. And then I'm going to do the Granny Apple Green. Just add some more green in there. And I chose colors that I know will match, right? So there's a little blue in here, but I know that yellow and blue make green. So and then I have 2 other types of greens. So I know they all kind of will work together. All right, so this is, I think, Calypso. Not Calypso, Coastal Cabana. So this has a little blue to it. Let's see if we can get some blue in there. See, I'm not really painting all that precisely. And the last color is Shaded Spruce. So I'm just going to dab. So I can see my paper is starting to warp a little bit. I could have used like masking tape to tape it down so it'd stay flat. But that's all right. So I'm going to let this dry. And it comes like this, which is kind of a cool painted picture with not a whole lot of effort. So what I did do, I don't know if you can see, I have some speckles. So there's some yellow and some blue. So how I did that is I just took my wet water painter, dipped it in a little yellow, and just kind of tapped it on my finger. And you get some speckles. So if you wanted a different color, I do too many. Oops. So you get some speckles. So I could either use my heat gun on, I would start on low and dry it, or you can actually take a paper towel, and if you just kind of meet the paper towel where it's wet, it soaks it up, kind of like those commercials. If I want to get something wet, but and that's if you wanted it to dry a little bit faster or lighter. But if you wanted it to dry darker like that, then you just let it sit. And then I can leave it like that, and it will eventually dry with the white showing through. So I'm going to leave that alone. Actually, I'll move it over here and then leave it alone. And I'll just use that one. And so for that one, I grabbed a Shaded Spruce. Yeah, Shaded Spruce card. Oh, we can actually stamp on that too. I'll do the same thing. Oop, wrong ink. They're both black. I want the stays on. The other thing about the glass mat is, so far so good, when you stamp, you can just stamp directly on it, and it has a little bit of give to it, and so you don't need the, you know, with a polymer, we use those piercing mats for a little cushion. So far, so good, just using the mat directly. Oh, I could have scuffed up those edges, but it's too late. All right, so there is that sample. A little bit more dynamic than the first one, was kind of soft. But they both are a resist technique. All right, the third one, we have to improvise a little bit because I didn't heat dry my, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it on this one since it's lighter. And I actually do have, I was going to make bookmarks, so we can do it on the bookmark too. I'm just going to do it on this because I will I'll replace that. All right, so what we're going to do is use the wide, and there's a little blue one here from yesterday, but it's clean. It probably just stained actually. We're going to use that tip, and we're also going to use a mister. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use this because I'm going to end up spraying water all over the place. We'll do all three of these. So this is just water in here. It's one of those misters. So I'm getting it wet first because it will be more of a watercolor look. And actually you can kind of see how the ink is moving on that. So this one, let's actually start with this one. I'm going to do some yellow. And I'm just going to give it like a wash. You can even see the resist. And I'm going to add more color to that one. Add a little yellow to this one, just a little bit. This one I'm going to do a darker color because it already has the green on there. So let's just start with shaded spruce. Let's see what happens. And it's definitely warping because it's wet. Oh, that's too much of the same color. Let's add some greeny apple green in here. I'm not trying to do too much because I like actually when there's a little bit of white showing. But there's no like right or wrong way of doing this. Add some green in here. And we'll add some all right. So that's that. And now I should have another paper towel. Again, I can let that sit, but do you see? Yeah, you can see it. See how this is pooling here? If it dried like that, you would get just a thick line. And so I really don't want that. So I'm actually just going to clean up that ink there. And do the same for down here. All right, and otherwise, I'm just going to let these dry. And I'll take pictures of them when they're dry. Okay, so I'm going to leave those alone. Oh, I have a whole bunch of ink right here. All right. Put those aside. To put them where I don't want to get, in case I don't want them to wreck anything. Okay, so this one is already dry. And you can see it's a little warped, and that's fine. But isn't that cool? So it just dries like that, and then you have the white. It just kind of comes up on top. So again, I'm going to stamp the black thank you. Like that. And sometimes you can even, like, I'm afraid I don't know if I want to do it. You could even rip it to get some edges. Let's just do it. Because you have the thickness of the white. We'll do the top and the bottom. Excuse me. so that that ripping just gives it a little bit more texture. You could do, let's see. Let's see what that looks like with just, I actually think that works. Instead of doing the sides, if I was going to do the sides, I would have cut it a little bit wider to give me more room. I actually think, which I'm not going to do, but to have a little texture underneath that would look kind of cool too. But I'm just going to glue this down. You could add gems, you could add ribbon, but I really don't think you need a whole lot because I think the coloring kind of speaks for itself. And this obviously is like summer colors, or to me, it's not fall colors. So you do not have to use this set for only fall colors. You can use any colors you want. All right. Let me cover this. So what I'm going to do with this, if I could either make some more because there's plenty of ink in there, I could do that, or I could just run it under the sink, and and it just runs clear. But do you see how that actually sticks to the glass? I'm just going to leave it there. It sticks to the glass. It doesn't slide. It's kind of nice. And then I'm just going to leave those in there so I don't get ink anywhere. Move those aside. I'm just going to grab all the 3 cards so you can see them. All right. All right. Bridget says, I need to watch from the beginning. I have not had much success with this technique. Definitely rewatch. I did it kind of fast, but you can kind of get the idea. I do have some more. I'll post a link. It's an old class, one of my first classes I ever did. And I'll post the link with a sale price, but it goes over a whole bunch of different embossing techniques, including this one. So that's the first one I did with the blending brush. They're all easy, but this is the easiest one. They can all be messy. This one, I could have, you know how we did water down first and then I added the color. I could have done that also, and so you'd get more of a washed out look, but this is more of a painted look. So it depends what you want. You could also spray water on top of it while it's still a little wet, and it would kind of run a little watercolor-ish. So you do have a lot of different options of doing it that way. And then this, I just did the wide brush on there, which is fun. I like that. And you never know. All the backgrounds are always different. So, I think I'm good. 3 different cards, really 3 different Emboss Resist techniques, but all with the same stamp and all kind of the simple layout. All right. So let's just see. Oh, good. I'm glad you like the ideas. You were anxious to try. It's just a piece of paper and a little mess, but that's okay. You can do it. And, I get a little ink on my fingers, but that's nothing unusual for me. All right, so let me put myself back on here. Oh, great. Okay. So I'm glad you liked it. Oh, we have extra people watching. Awesome. Some new people. So thank you very much for watching. So give it a try. Post if you want to post your own samples. I have my Very Important Paper Crafters Facebook group that I think it's MSP for Mail Something Pretty VIPs. But there's links, you can find it. But that's where you can post pictures of your own creations because we like to share. And so you can post things that you make. All right, so recap is July is the bonus day. So any $50 worth of product, you get a $5 coupon. And so the bundle that I just showed you, the Changing Leaves bundle, I think it's like $54. So that would get a coupon. The glass mat is $60. So that would get you a coupon. If you bought both, you would get 2 coupons and you can use them in August. And then let's see, that's going on in Stampin' Up. And then the product spotlight I showed you at the beginning, if you bought that same Changing Leaves bundle by Saturday, I'll send you a tutorial on how to make this chopstick wreath for free. And for those who are local to me, and I know a lot of you on here are not local to me, and I'm so sorry you're not. I'm having a stamping event on Saturday, September 14th. Registration for that just opened up, so you can sign up for that. And that stuff will be posted on my blog. It's on the Facebook page. It was in my newsletter today. All right, so I think that's a recap of everything. Shade looks like the previous paper. Pumpkin. Oh, that's funny. That's that's funny. That's really old fabric. That's funny. Yeah, I changed the you can see it more. I changed the angle of my desk because it actually now I have a table on this side, so I actually have more room to put stuff down and grab stuff. So trying out a new layout in my room. All right, so thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna go make a cup of tea. I think my throat needs it. I'm not sure what happened, but my daughter came home with a cold the other day, and I think she very generously shared it with me. All right, so have a wonderful week. I will see you guys next week. If you have any questions or comments, put them here or email me, Christine@mailsomethingpretty.com, and I'll get back to you. Have a wonderful day and week. Bye.